Hey everyone, I wanted to talk in this video about how you can actually improve your audio quality totally for free in your system. Now with digital audio interference like RFI, radio frequency interference, is a big problem, especially with digital audio in like USB cables and things like that, because a lot of the things, the different wireless devices that we have around us operate in similar or same frequencies as the USB signal passing through that USB cable. Like 2 gigahertz and above, things like cordless phone, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, they're all on different frequencies, but they can interject some sort of noise into your system. And in the worst case scenario, that can lead to pops and clicks. But in what happens generally more often is that you actually get more jitter that you don't necessarily realize that's happening. But there has to be more error correction going on there if there's more jitter in your system, and therefore that does lower the quality a bit. And it could also have noise floor modulation and stuff like that. So in order to optimize your system, it's really easy to eliminate some of the things that you don't need to have around you that are causing this kind of interference. So for instance, let's start with Wi-Fi. Turn off any Wi-Fi devices that you don't actually need to have on all the time, and that'll help a lot. The less Wi-Fi devices you can have in your house, the better it is for your audio system. And in my case, I had a Wi-Fi laser printer in another room that, I only use that laser printer maybe once a month or something like that. Yet having it on all the time, it's constantly talking back and forth via Wi-Fi to the Wi-Fi router, to get that sync. But I don't need the printer on all the time, so I actually turn that off. So that's eliminating one Wi-Fi device right there. So also, if you have any other Wi-Fi devices that are just constantly on that don't need to be on, certainly turn those off. Now, if it's something that needs to be on, like a security system or other computers or things like that, sure, keep those on. I'm just talking about things that you don't need to have on Wi-Fi. Just turn those off. The other thing is Bluetooth. I also had a Bluetooth keyboard that I was using wirelessly, via Bluetooth, and that can actually interfere with your system as well, especially if you are playing back from that same computer that the Bluetooth is connected to. I actually just hooked up a USB cable to that keyboard. It's the Happy Hacking keyboard Type S, the new one though, the wireless one. But anyway, I just hooked up a USB cable and turned off the Bluetooth on that, and now I am just going wired into the computer. So that eliminates one whole Bluetooth device right there. And the more Bluetooth signals and stuff that you have going in your system, the more chance of interference that you can get. So if you have a keyboard that is capable of both Bluetooth and wired, I would highly recommend just using it wired. And then speaking of USB, also unplug any USB devices that you're not using. Sometimes people have tons of USB devices and a hub going, plugged in. Especially if you're playing audio via Bluetooth, the less Bluetooth devices that are in that Bluetooth chain, the better. In my case, I actually had a USB hub, and I only had one thing plugged into it, which, at one point I had more things, but at this time I only had one thing plugged into it, which is kind of stupid. So I unplugged that whole USB hub and just plugged that one device directly into my computer, that one USB device, directly into my computer, and I got rid of that hub entirely. So that's getting rid of one whole USB device, basically. And then if I need additional devices, I can always unplug like my USB external hard drive, because that's only used for backup purposes. So I can unplug that and plug something else into that port. I don't necessarily need the hub on all the time on my USB chain. So that's another thing you can do, and all these things are like totally free when you're evaluating your playback system. So basically what you want to do is you want to optimize your system, not only wired but also wireless, for the less devices the better, especially if you're not using the devices. So yeah, powering off those devices or unplugging those devices that aren't in use, just having it more minimal is going to increase your audio quality in your computer audio system for sure. If you had tons of unneeded stuff going before, doing this little hint, I think you will notice a more euphonic kind of sound with, a more pure kind of sound. Now it's going to be subtle, certainly depending on your system, but again, anything can help, especially if it's completely free and if these devices aren't needed all the time. So in other words, doing these steps can't hurt you at all and can only help. Questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.